Hello Year 12 and welcome to Purple Mountain Maths. We're doing the 2024 HSC paper for Maths Advanced. This is part 1, the multiple choice. Question 1. Consider the function shown. Which of the following could be the equation of this function? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, when we're looking at this question, the first thing we notice is a negative slope. So we need to have the coefficient of the x negative. In a structure like this, we know that m is negative. And we can also see that the y-intercept has a positive value, so c is positive. So the only line which meets that criteria is C. The answer is C. Question 2. In a group of 60 students, 38 play basketball, 35 play hockey, and 5 do not play either basketball or hockey. How many students play both basketball and hockey? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so we're told that n equals 60. We can set up a Venn diagram involving basketball and hockey. Basketball, hockey. We know that there are 5 that are outside. So we know that the number of basketball and hockey needs to be 55. But at the moment, 35 and 38 add to 73, and we need them to only add to 55. The difference between 73 and 55 is 18. That must be the number of people in the overlap, and that's what they asked for. They asked for how many students play both. The answer is B. Question 3. Pia's marks in Year 10 assessments are shown. The scores for each subject were normally distributed. Question: in which subject did Pia perform best in comparison with the rest of Year 10? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, because we're being asked about comparison to everyone else, we know we need to figure out the Z scores. So in each case, Z equals score less the mean divided by the standard deviation. This is the mean, this is the standard deviation. So we need to use a calculator to get each of those. So 78 less 66 is that, divided by 6 is that. So in the first case, Z equals 2. We need to do all of them. 80 less 71 all over 10. This one 0.9. This one is 7 divided by 15. And this one is 13 divided by 9, which I can see is bigger than 1. In which subject did she perform best, i.e. the highest Z score? The max Z equals 2, and that related to English. The answer is A. Question 4. The parabola y equals x minus 3 all squared minus 2 is reflected about the y-axis. This is then reflected about the x-axis. What is the equation of the resulting parabola? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so step 1 is to replace x with minus x. And step 2 is to replace y with minus y. So let's do that. Y equals minus x minus 3 all squared minus 2. I can pull out a minus 1 inside there, and then when I apply the squaring to that, it will apply to both pieces individually. Minus 1 squared is 1, so that's step 1, and then in step 2 I'm going to make that minus y equals x plus 3 squared minus 2. So y equals minus x plus 3 squared plus 2. It's a good idea to have a little glance at the structure of the answers so we can see that there's no point expanding that out because we don't need to. The answer is C. Question 5. What is the integration of 6x plus 1 all cubed dx? Pause here to try yourself. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. You could use a reverse chain rule straight away, or you could just explore what would have happened if I'd taken the derivative of 6x plus 1 to the 4. I would end up with a 4 times 6x plus 1 to the 3 times the derivative of the inside, which is 6. So I'd end up with this. Clearly I don't have that, but I can create it by putting a 1 and 24 outside of 24, 6x plus 1 to the 3 dx, and I know that that will go straight to 1/24 of 6x plus 1 to the 4 plus c. So the answer is A. Question 6. What is the domain of the function f of x equals 1 over root x squared minus 1? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so we know we cannot divide by 0. We know we cannot take the square root of a negative number. So both of those conditions mean that x squared minus 1 needs to be kept positive. So x squared needs to be bigger than 1. If you think about what that looks like, we need to keep x larger than 1 or less than minus 1. So I'm looking for a domain which is from negative infinity up to negative 1, do not include it, and 1 up to infinity, do not include 1. So I'm looking for the round brackets. The answer is D. Question 7. The diagram shows the graph y equals f of x. Which of the following best represents the graph y equals f of 2x minus 1? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so first of all, I need to reimagine that function by factorising out that 2. So y is f of 2 outside of x minus a half. Okay, so let me interpret that. I have dilated horizontally by a scale factor of 1 on 2, and then I have translated right by a half. Okay, so looking at this, previously it took 4 units to go up and down, so now I need it to go up and down just by 2. So it's going to be here, and then I need to shuffle it to the right by a half. So I'm looking for something that does something like that. And when I look for that, I can see that the answer is C. Question 8. Some data are used to create a box plot shown. A histogram is created from the same set of data. Which of these histograms is not possible for the given box plot? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so we know that the box plot is telling us that 25% of the data is here, 25% here, 25% here, and 25% here. So notice that the IQR is from here to here, and the bottom quartile is only that long, the top quartile is only that long. So there's actually quite a lot of data at the extremities in the box plot. And so we're looking for the one which is least likely to match. Just based on that, I'm inclined to investigate D. So D doesn't appear to have enough data at the extremities. I don't know the scale on this axis, but supposing it was just those integers, then what D would look like would be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. if I was to count those, I can see that n equals 16. So I can see that Q2 would be at 4 and Q1 would be at 3 and Q3 would be 5. So the IQR would be 5 minus 3, which is 2, with a min of 1 and a max of 7. Now, if I was to actually plot that on a number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it would look like this. It would have end whiskers the same size as the IQR, and we can see that that looks nothing like the box plot I was actually given. So the histogram which is not possible is D. 9. A bag contains 2 red and 3 white marbles. Joven randomly selects 2 marbles at the same time from this bag. The probability tree diagram shows the probability for each of the outcomes. Given that one of the marbles that Joven has selected is red, what is the probability that the other marble that he has selected is also red? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so it's nice that they've given us the probability tree. It's probably going to be useful for us to work out the probability of red, which is 2/5 of a quarter, which is 2 on 20, or 1 on 10. Probability white is the opposite of what we're interested in. It's 3/5 times 2/4, which is 6 on 20 or 3 on 10. Okay, so as soon as you see those words given that, you know that you're going to be using conditional probability. So the probability of both red, given there is a red, using the formula, is the probability of the AND case, both red and there is a red, divided by the probability there is a red. Okay, so the probability there is a red is all of these cases, which is just 1 minus the white case, which is 7/10. The probability that both are red and there is a red, we've already worked out, is 1/10. So the numerator is 1/10 and the denominator is 7/10. So the answer is 1 on 7. The answer is B. The diagram shows the graph y equals f of x, as shown. We're told that the point Q is a horizontal point of inflection. Let a of x be the definite integral from 0 to x of ft dt. How many points of inflection does the graph y equals a of x have? Pause here to try yourself. Okay, so this question hangs on you recognising that if a of x is so defined, then a dash of x equals f of x, which equals y. So we need to consider where a double dash equals 0, because they are where we're interested in finding potential points of inflection, and we need to test if a double dash changes sign. So let's have a look at that. We can see that we go from negative to positive here. We can see that we go from positive to negative here, and we can see that we go from negative to positive here. So the answer is B. There are 3.